Welcome to the Wings Mobile Detailing Business and Automotive Podcast, the only podcast that will guide you on how to start and grow six-figure companies. As our team expand from one business location to worldwide domination, you will get step-by-step insights from a millennial franchisor and franchise owner with your host, Andre Mezalira.
Hello guys, Andre here with yet another podcast in the business topic. This is a very important podcast, guys. Today I'm talking about arrogant people and where it takes them. I have multiple real world examples. I'm going to try to not to use real people's name because I don't want to bash anybody, whoever they are. I don't want to bash anybody, but it's very important to know who you guys are surrounding yourself with. If you're doing business with somebody, or maybe you're investing like me, I was looking for companies to invest. And what's the first thing you want to see? You want to see the CEO, who is running the company. You want to know people. You want to know how to not necessarily read people, but you want to know what are the top traits that make each individual successful, or what are the top traits that you want your friends to have, and the traits, most importantly, that you don't want them to have. Meaning they can be a bad person and you can get that from a trait, or they can be self-destructive or destructive to others. All these traits that you can learn, but the one trait that I want to talk about today is arrogant people. Most, if not all the time, but 99% of, and I study about companies. I see companies too. I invest as well. So I personally want to see the CEO who's running each company, or even in the real world, wanted to meet people. And most of the people who are arrogant, they end up failing. Now, am I saying this because I just want to bash on arrogant people? No, I'm saying this. I'm recording this podcast because it's very important. If you guys are dealing in a business transaction with somebody, or if you guys are betting on something, betting on somebody, betting on a company, investing on a company, and you're going to see who the CEO of the company is, because if you're investing on it, you want the company to do well. The only way for the company to do well is if the CEO, the owner of the company, is a good-minded person. And the biggest tell that I've realized of not necessarily just companies who fail, but CEOs who fail, or people in life who fail in their career, the biggest tell is when they are arrogant. Guys, 99% of the times I've seen arrogant people. And I'm going to give you the definition of arrogant, but they tend to, at the end of the day, fail because they exaggerate. And that's the definition of somebody being arrogant, is having, but on Google it says having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. So they are people who exaggerated their abilities to do something. When they exaggerate, it means that they really don't have that ability to push through to the end. So they want to exaggerate it to kind of show off, to brag about it. And it's okay to brag. I mean, if you're bragging about real skills that you have, that's okay. But if you're being arrogant, meaning that you're bragging on something that's not real, to yourself, you haven't proven that you're actually good at something. You actually have proven otherwise, but you try to show to other people that you're actually good at it, and there's only so far that you can go with that mentality, because eventually the truth always comes out and fail. And I have multiple examples of this. Many people, on the other hand, many arrogant people, I mean, I think you guys already got how bad it is to be arrogant, but unfortunately, many people who are arrogant, they don't know that they are arrogant. They don't know that they actually don't have the ability to operate or to do whatever it may be in life. Maybe they are exaggerating wins, but they haven't won anything. Maybe they are exaggerating a skill that they have, or maybe they are saying that they are better than somebody else. They can grow much bigger than somebody else, like in a competing type of way. But they haven't proven anything. And many of these people, a lot of arrogant people, they believe they're delusional. That's the word. They're delusional to think that they actually can do something, or they actually are all of that they are saying, but they haven't proven that they are. They are actually not. And those are the worst people, because sometimes they can sell to less fortunate people that an image, a company, a vision, and involve somebody else in their idea, because they're just, showing off something that they're really not capable of doing, taking the steps to get there. So they just fake it all the way. That's part of an arrogant person. Now, let me tell you how you find these people. You just look for this trait, and you want to be away from these people, guys. Unless you want to, by away, I mean you don't want to have them influence you. That's what I mean. Because if you're in a business transaction, if you're investing in a company, and you realize that the CEO is arrogant, it's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well. And I have multiple examples I'm sure you guys can think of. And I'm not gonna bash on anybody, but I'm going to use examples of what have happened with companies that in the past 2 years, I was actually looking for companies to invest in the stock market. I invested in Tesla. I really admire Elon Musk. I see him as a modest, humble person, which is the opposite of arrogant. But that's not the only thing I saw. Obviously not. It doesn't mean, if you're humble and modest, that doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. If you're arrogant, most likely you will fail. But if you're humble and modest, it doesn't mean you're going to be successful. There are a lot of, financially successful. There are a lot of poor people who are also humble. And there are a lot of rich people who are also humble and modest. It doesn't go hand to hand, but it does go hand in hand when you're arrogant. And it does relate to your success, because if you're arrogant, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, most likely the truth always comes out. The truth, you may be successful, but comparing an arrogant person may be successful, but comparing to their actual potential, they may not get there, because they exaggerate what they are, but they really aren't all that. Now, Elon Musk is the owner of Tesla, invested in there. I see him as a humble person, modest, the way he's, not because he stutter when he speaks, but you can just tell. You can just tell when you're watching an arrogant person and when you're watching a humble and modest person. They can say the same thing, but the way they say it, you can actually tell. And I don't know how to tell. I'm sure you guys who are listening to this podcast can't tell. Now, I was looking for companies like Tesla, and then this other company, and I'm not going to bash the company or the guy. I'm just going to say what happened. But this other company that I was looking at, I was like, okay, it's a company that's similar to Tesla, not really. But then I started to look through the owner of the company, obviously the CEO. I play videos with the CEO. And guys, that was 2 years ago or less. But I seen the CEO of this company that I was looking bashing on Elon Musk. He has barely started his company, and he was the founder of this other automotive company. And the interesting thing here, guys, and the biggest tell about arrogant people is when they try to put themselves on top of the other. They don't work together in the team. They don't look for their other company in the same industry as somebody they can grow with, but they see as their competitor and try to put themselves on top when they're really not all that. That's what arrogant people do. And this guy that I was looking, for companies, and that was bashing. He was actually bashing on Elon Musk. You guys know who Elon Musk is. And this guy said that one of the things he said was there's very few people who can out Elon Musk, and I'm one of them. That's what he said on a video. And he was the owner of another automotive company. And guys, this gets worse. I mean, I and I'm not saying this. You guys may think that, oh, Andre, now you're saying this because something happened to this guy, because the guy that I'm talking about, he was the founder of Nikola Motors. And when I was seeing this, guys, hey, I want to say first, I personally don't understand about the company that he owned. It was Travis Milton, the owner of Nikola. And I don't understand. I'm not an expert, of the trucks that he was building. I don't know how it's made. I don't know that. And that's specific. That's even more important because 2 years ago when I was watching, that was, I think, about over a year ago, short of a year ago, and I was seeing this video of this guy, what he was saying, and you won't believe the video I'm gonna play to you guys. What the founder of Nikola said about Elon Musk. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm gonna play you the video, but I'm not saying this because I want to bash on anybody. No, but I want to teach you guys using this incredible example, and that's something he said. So I'm not gonna make up anything here. This guy just came up with a company. I'm not. It's not even comparable to what Tesla is. I mean, you can't even compare. The guy is like Tesla has broke the record of sales and technology and sales of with the Model 3 especially. He broke the record passing GM. Huge companies. And I mean, who is this guy? But that's okay. But the guy has been arrogant. And 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, the first thing when I saw this video of this guy right there, I thought, and this is why it's important for you guys to know, people, for you to know the effect that an arrogant person can have. An arrogant person, you have to stay away from them. Don't invest on them. Because 2 years ago when I watched this video, and mind you, I did not understand anything about his company. I did not know, I barely read anything, but just for the fact that I saw the owner, I was like, okay, this company is not going to go anywhere. Because I'm going to play you the video of what he was saying, how arrogant he was. He was putting himself in a place, he was so delusional and putting himself up there and thinking that he was all that. And that happened to have a lot of examples, but this is a big one. That I was even thinking about. I don't want to say short the company because I don't take that type of risk, but I even talked about it before, in the podcast, to watch out for this company just because, for the one reason that this guy, the owner, is arrogant. And he can have a great product, which I don't believe he did have, but he could have a great product. He could be indeed, obviously not passing Tesla the way he was saying that he was going to do because he's nowhere near. But because he was arrogant, I already knew then and there that this is not a good company to invest in, or for as long as this guy is the CEO. And that's why when you invest in company, guys, you're investing in people. When you're being part of a company, you're being part. It's some people joke that when you're partnership with somebody, it's like a marriage. It's a bondage. So you really have to know the person. And I'm not recording this podcast to say, oh, I told you so, I knew it. I knew it 2 years ago. I'm recording this podcast just as an example of you guys knowing this trait, knowing who you can trust, knowing who you can believe in, non-delusional people, no arrogant people. You're in good hands. That counts a lot. It has a huge effect in success, guys. So don't think you can invest or be part of a partnership or trust somebody who is arrogant, because the arrogant is not just something simple. Oh, it's okay. The guy's just arrogant, but everything else is great. No. That can be a deciding factor if the guy will succeed or not. And let me play this video, and then I'm going to tell you guys what happened to this it's not to the company itself, but to this whole situation about a few weeks ago.
But Nikola is the pioneer in heavy duty trucking, and Tesla's just following in our footsteps. And a lot of them, are really believe that Elon is like this great person that can do anything. And it's when they see someone else being able to actually beat him at what he's doing, they hate that. It's so
All right, this is an example of itself. He was the founder of Nikola Motors, Travis Milton. And again, guys, this is how careful you guys have to be when you're dealing with arrogant people. He's clearly not anywhere near where Tesla or Elon Musk is. Even if he was, even if that was true, but that is still being arrogant. There's still being like in his case, he was not only being arrogant, but he was being delusional. I don't know which reality he's living in that he can already beat Elon Musk. And guys, so 2 years ago this happened, and a few weeks ago, he's not being charged, but he dropped off of Nikola, the company that he founded. There are some rumors that he was fired, but he's not there anymore, and he is being investigated with fraud. And that did not take not even 1.5 years after I saw this video, and after I thought, this is not gonna go anywhere. This is even a company that I would want to short, but I don't do that. But I would. And now you guys may be thinking, oh, Andre, now you're saying this because all this thing happened with him, and not only now you're speaking. No, I spoke before, but this podcast is not about it. This podcast is not about me saying, oh, I was right, or oh, I told you so. This is not about it, guys. Open your mind to understand arrogant people. Be careful. This has got to be the title of this podcast. A different company that I'm looking in now in different eyes. A company that I'm actually liking, that is, they are also we're in the electric car world. This guy is trying to beat, saying that he was already beating Elon Musk for somehow in his delusional world. But there's this other company, for example, who's also doing electric cars, and it's called Lucid Motors. And the owner of this company is Peter Rawlinson. I really like this guy. And I'm not trying to recommend anything, but I'm just using as a comparison. This guy is starting to come out with Lucid Motor to come out with a new luxury electric vehicle that would cost way above $100,000. And on the video, if you guys play video, Peter Rawlinson, it's a beautiful car, beautiful product, but regardless of all that, this guy has said he actually said, oh, he's not competing with, he's not going to try to compete with Elon Musk. And even if he said that, hey, I'm trying to compete, but you're not being arrogant. Okay, you're competing, that's fine. But he said that we're not competing with Elon Musk here. It's a different trend, and he's not being arrogant or nor delusional, because he understands. But it's the way you said it. Did you guys just hear the video that I played you guys? When I watched the video of him, owner of Nikola Motors, his name is Trevor. When I watched that video, I already knew, like, this guy's not going to go, I knew that. I even talked about it. But I didn't think it was going to be that quick. And watch out for that, guys. Watch out for that, because I have a lot of examples. I just don't want to be throwing names out there. The only reason I used this guy Trevor is because he went publicly and said that, so he opened himself for criticism as well. And we can use that as a lesson to not do that. A lot of people, even in MMA fight, UFC, we used to watch, and I admire a lot this person, but we used to watch UFC, and there was this one fighter. There was many fighters, but this one that struck out the most to me is this fighter who would be really arrogant. It would really be arrogant saying that they can beat anybody and they are all the great and everything. It was a she. And this person actually got to be successful, to be a champion, won the championship for UFC. But here's the thing. I also thought about, okay, she was champion, but it doesn't last. You see how you being a champion in UFC, if you get yourself destroyed badly, it doesn't last. Being arrogant at the end of the day does not work. Watch out for this, guys. really watch out. This is a very important. I think this is a very important tip. I hope this helps. But don't get yourself caught into the delusional world of an arrogant person who's trying to persuade you to be part of a deal with them or to invest on something that they have or be part of something with you together. It may sound great. Some of these arrogant and delusional people are really good at presenting a fake reality that even they believe in their own reality, and they sell it well because they believe in their own bullshit. So guys, be really careful, because if your gut feelings telling, oh, this person is arrogant, even though it may sound good, it may sound like, okay, they're gonna achieve all the highest goal. Maybe they say that they already are achieving that when they don't have any proof of that. But if your gut feelings telling you they are arrogant, really take that into serious consideration, guys, before you get involved into anything. Guys, thank you so much. Andre here again with Wings Mobile Detailing Podcast. I have the best podcast in the world. You guys should just listen to me. And yeah, I'm just gonna kill it and rock it. I'm already killing it. Thanks, guys. That was a joke. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.